Hey guys, Dr. Ben here, FA Well Centers. Let's talk about your sleep today, but let's also talk about whatever you want. I love these Thursday calls because I get to see all of these different things that you guys are dealing with, whether that's ingrown toenails or all the way to cancer to everything in between. Bring those questions and I'll do the best I possibly can to give you some ideas of why it's happening and some things that you can start doing to make massive change in your life. So I love having you guys on. Education, it's in my blood. Both my parents were teachers, to my grandparents were teachers. I've got aunts that were teachers, cousins that are teachers, all types of things. I love teaching, and this is kind of my outlet for that. So I want to give as much information as I possibly can. Bring those questions. I'm going to be talking about one of the ones we've been getting a lot this week is, why can't I sleep? And so I'll be answering that. But pop down below any questions you have, anything at all related to health or whatever. I'll answer any questions, but especially health related questions for you, for a loved one. Share this with anybody you know. We go live every Thursday morning. And if somebody is dealing with a health issue that they cannot get fixed, especially in that traditional medical model, and they've been down that path, gone and see neurologists and GI docs and specialists and all these things, and still not getting the answers, have them come here, ask questions. I'll give you guys steps that you can do. You can take action right away. So let me know where you're watching from, wherever you are in the country, in the United States, wherever you are around the world. Love seeing that. I'll give you a shout out, as well as ask any questions in regards to health at all. This COVID surge that's coming around, we're starting to see it. You're starting to hear people having more COVID. What can you do? Hey, Jessica, great to see you there in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I grew up around Omaha, so just down the highway from you guys there. Here's the deal. Why can I not sleep? Well, two things you need to think about. One is, are you having a hard time getting to sleep or a hard time staying asleep? Those are two totally different things. So if you're having a hard time staying asleep, hey Cindy, great to see you guys. You coming back up this summer at all? I'd love to see you guys. So in the thought process of hard time falling asleep, that is going to be more of an issue with the cortisol, with the adrenals, with adrenaline, and just getting this second wind and getting hyped up. So a lot of people, so if here is your cortisol in the morning, that's your main adrenal hormone, it should be down here at bedtime and throughout the night. It should be low throughout the night. But what happens is a lot of people are lower in the morning and they'll actually get this second wind come nighttime. So if you are one of those people that's like, man, by 8, 9 o'clock, I actually start getting going. I can do laundry. I can do other things. A lot of moms are like this because, Jessica, we'll get to that's the third thing of you're sleeping good, but you're waking up tired. So we'll actually get to that one in a second as well. So a lot of moms do this. They're like, get to bed, little kids to bed, and then they're like, oh wow, I got this energy now. I can do all these extra things. I can do this extra work, etc. And it's because they get this second wind. They get this adrenaline boost going out through the body. And so usually those people that are having a hard time getting to sleep, it's more of an adrenal issue. Those adrenals are getting revved up, they're bouncing up there and getting this adrenaline flowing through the body. They're not going to be able to get that good restorative sleep and harder time getting to sleep. It's kind of like if you've fallen asleep before bed and like watching TV or whatever, and then you wake up, brush your teeth, go wash a couple dishes, go to bed, and you lie there and you're like, oh my gosh, I was just trying to keep my eyes open and I couldn't, and now I'm trying to go to sleep and I can't because you get this second wind. So a lot of you guys that's happening to, hard time getting sleep, you need to start going to bed a little bit earlier. You need to be watching my video on what to do for sleep hygiene, winding yourself down. Number 2 is going to be hard time staying asleep. So if you're waking up 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock is a very common time, it's because that blood sugar is actually dipping down. You're not able to maintain your homeostasis. happens, your blood sugar drops, and this is adrenal related as well. The adrenals give tone to a lot of things in the body, but it's going to try to maintain that homeostasis by telling the liver to kick out glucose. So blood sugar goes down, adrenaline goes up, and then you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got all this on my mind. I'm having a hard time shutting it down. I'm worrying about this, all these different things, but it's really a blood sugar component to it. Some women, they'll put a sheet down or a towel down before they go to bed, and they'll wake up drenched. They'll wake up really sweaty and have this issue where they're getting this like flush, this hot flash. Some people wake up with a panic attack, their mind's racing. That's a blood sugar thing. Some people need to snack before bed, but ultimately you've got to stabilize that blood sugar as much as you possibly can throughout the day before going to bed, and that's going to be the biggest one. So Jessica, yes, totally the second wind, get stuff done when everyone else is in bed. So again, Jessica, you've got to start making that shift, and you've got to start going to sleep a little bit earlier. You got to start winding down. Phosphatidylserine is actually one of the best things you can do, maybe 2 to 4 hours before going to bed. That's going to help that cortisol rhythm calm down. So phosphatidylserine is great. Brittany, that is the Adrenacalm. If you put a link down to that one of our favorite products too. If you're having getting that second wind at like 9 o'clock, maybe by 6 or so, you could take 2 of those before bed and have some significant change in there. So that can really be helpful. Number 3 is going to be, man, I can sleep 6 hours, 12 hours. I sleep through the night. I sleep like a log, but I wake up tired. That is going to be, you're not getting a good deep restorative sleep state. So when we do a brain map, we're able to see, it's a quantitative EEG. We're able to see what somebody's electrical activity is going on in their brain. And most of the time, if you're not getting a good quality sleep, that sleep wave is up way too high and it's spinning 30 miles an hour in first year. So it's just spinning along and you're never getting that restorative sleep state. So absolutely, that's the big part when we're looking at Jessica had said something about, just never waking up refreshed. That's usually a brain thing. So again, ask any other questions that you guys have in regards to health. Put those down below. This is a live Q&A. So bring your questions, anything at all that you have in regards to health questions. We would love to answer those. Brittany, go ahead and let me know any ones that you guys have had as well this week from patients coming in. So what is the product for help with staying asleep? So here's the deal. You can take blood sugar support. You can take cinnamon, inositol. There's different things that are going to help with that blood sugar, but ultimately what's going to do best for keeping that blood sugar stabilized, because that's the part that affects staying asleep, is going to be stabilizing that blood sugar throughout the day. That's why we do the continuous glucose monitors. People are able to see what's happening throughout the day. But then also before bed, trying a snack. You can try a couple slices of apple and a scoop of almond butter. You can try a slice of turkey breast and a slice of cheese. You could try some of these different things, and that's going to do better than any supplement out there. Just as far as a general supplementation, magnesium is going to be helpful for a lot of people. Okay, this is June. What can I take for thinning hair? So a couple things that we have to think about. A lot of people are seeing this post-COVID. June 2nd, we'll be doing a webinar, 1-hour webinar on COVID long haul and all the symptoms, all the things that we're seeing and ways to actually help that. But this is one of the big ones that we're seeing is this thinning hair. So if this is due to COVID, it's usually an inflammatory process. Those cells in the hair are being inflamed and potentially attacked by autoimmunity. So we've got to calm down that inflammatory process in the body, and that makes a huge difference. But that involves looking at all the systems. You've got to look at your liver and your gut and your adrenals and your immune system and all these different things to see why it's inflamed and why it's attacking itself that way. Another thing that we look at is if the hormones are out of balance. Sometimes excess testosterone, June, so you want to check your testosterone and your DHEA. If those are at the high side, you actually have too much of those, and that's where we see a lot of women actually have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's this excess hormone that's going to start, even like in guys, they start getting this male pattern baldness. Some women actually start getting that as well. So it all depends on where that thinning is coming from. But as far as taking something, you've got to know what it's from in the first place. There's Janie. Yes, I have trouble sleeping. So again, listen to those 3 different things. If it's hard time getting to sleep, you've got to change your sleep pattern, your sleep hygiene to get into that good restorative sleep state right before bed there. Calm down. I use a massage gun, turn the lights down low, put blackout curtains on, quiet, calming music, take a salt bath. Any of these things are going to be helpful. If it's harder time staying asleep, then you would look at keeping that blood sugar as steady as possible, taking a little snack before bed if you need to. And if you can sleep all night but just never wake up refreshed, then look at the brain map and get a good quality brain map to where then, hey, can we do neurofeedback to actually get you into that deeper state? Hey, Angel there in New Jersey, great to see you. We've got some of our team members in New Jersey and from New Jersey. You are so welcome, Debbie. Good to see you. And Kristen, what are your thoughts on castor oil packs for inflammation, especially for injuries? So here's the deal with the castor oil packs. It can be helpful for an injury, possibly speed it up. I would use castor oil packs more for like liver detoxification, stagnant gallbladder. If you've got slow bowels, you can put it on there. So castor oil pack, for those of you guys that don't know, it's like a wool pad that's soaked in castor oil, and you heat it up and put it over different areas. It wouldn't be my go-to for injuries, but definitely for gut stuff, for liver, for gallbladder, some of those things definitely could be helpful in there. Let's see. We have Hazel. Good morning from Nova Scotia. Good to see you. What are your thoughts about gallbladder removal? They want to remove mine because I have a 2-centimeter gallstone. I only have mild discomfort on the left side of belly button. I heard removal can cause other symptoms like acid reflux. Great question, Hazel. First thing I want to know is, why did they find it in the first place? If you weren't having symptoms, what were they looking for? And so what you want to think about with a gallstone, and you can look this up online or DM us and we can get more in depth into it. There are gallbladder flushes, purges, whatever you want to call it, where you actually go in and do some oil, do some apples to break it down. There's different things that you're going to do to actually soften those gallstones and then purge it out by drinking a bunch of oil, olive oil, things like that, and it's going to actually cause your body to go and squeeze it out. If they're going to take it out anyways, and I'm not giving you medical advice on how to do this, but if it was me, this is what I would do. If I had a 2-centimeter gallstone and it was like, wow, man, they're going to take it out anyways, and so I would go in and I would do all this prep work and then do a purge, see if I can get that out. And sometimes it works. Worst case scenario would be that gallstone gets stuck and then they have to go in and take out your gallbladder anyways, which they're going to do. But I would go down fighting if it was me and try to get that out as best as I could. So just Google gallbladder purge, gallbladder flush, and there'll be a lot of different things out there on that. If you have questions on those, give us a holler and we can give you some ideas on that. But yes, any of you guys listening, if you have your gallbladder out, your digestion is not working like it's supposed to, you need help, you need support. The gallbladder holds bile. Bile is released from the liver and it's squeezed out of the gallbladder when we have a fatty meal. So this is one of the problems and why we see so many people having issues with their gallbladder gallbladder, well, there's two reasons. One is because of the food and the intake that people are getting, and that gallbladder is getting this sludge and all these issues in there. Number two is that in traditional acupuncture, between 11 and 1, the gallbladder is most active, meaning it's cleansing itself, purging things out. But if somebody's awake between 11 and 1, if they're a night owl, if they work a night shift, anything like that, they are not giving their gallbladder a good chance to purge and to get that out. So I would look at your sleep patterns as well. But for anybody that does not have a gallbladder, you want to look at bile salts or bringing in some type of ox bile that, especially if you're eating a fatty meal, is going to be helpful. So thanks for the question there. And Jessica, my son has been getting sick every month since December. It's always on a cycle, happens within the first 2 weeks of the month. Sometimes it's just a few days. Other times he's out of school 1 to 2 days. Always starts with a sore throat, sinus stuff. Sometimes we'll have fever, body ache, chills, but mostly just sore throat and sinus stuff. He has always been very healthy. He's 11. Pretty sure he got COVID in August, but tested negative. No one seems to be able to figure out what's going on. So we see this all the time with people that have a decreased immune system. Just talked to a lady in upper Minnesota yesterday, and we started, and she was the same thing, getting sick every 2 months, every 2 weeks, and just constantly kind of having that low grade illness behind her. And right now we're on like 7 weeks without any cold, anything at all. And usually this time of year with the allergens and things like that, she's getting revved up. And so if you start thinking about, okay, yes, you can do echinacea, you can do zinc, you can do C and D and all these different things, but ultimately, why is his body depleted in the first place? And, COVID is one of those things that can do it. I don't know what that spike protein, they jacked with it in the lab in Wuhan, and we don't know what that virus is doing and how it's evolved. And yet we're seeing a lot of these symptoms in people, neurological damage, all types of different things, but especially this immune system that's depleted. So you've got to take the step back and go, how can I optimize his body? How can I get his body as strong as feasibly possible? So check out Monday's video that we did where we were talking about things to do if COVID comes around again, but I was talking about some of the things for that immune system. So you've got to focus on the sleep, you've got to focus on getting the stress down, you've got to focus on the blood sugar, getting optimal nutrition, all these different things that are going to be helpful to jumpstart that immune system. Yes, you can take supplements, but remember, you cannot out-supplement a depleted immune system. That's just not going to happen. So again, everybody jumping on, pop questions down below. I'll stay on as long as we need to and answer any questions that you have to the best of my ability. Hope that helps, Jessica, but you've got to get that down. June, you are so welcome. And let's see what else we have here. Elisa, my mother-in-law struggles with sleep and staying asleep. Is this always related to blood sugar, or can it be other things as well? Blood sugar is very common. Now that we have continuous glucose monitors, we can see it all night long, and it's very commonly there'll be a dip before that we'll see that happening. That's probably 80%. Some other things that it could be in traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is most active from 3 to 5, and so there's this transition from gallbladder purging and cleansing to liver at 3 o'clock. And so a lot of times if that acupuncture meridian is out of balance, it will throw things off, and people will wake up at 3 o'clock and be like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Why can't I sleep? So then you've got to look at the liver, do some cleansing, do some support on helping that detoxification, potentially some acupuncture if she's in a place where there's some acupuncture, she can do some of that, but also that brain map. And that's the other thing that we see. Probably the other percentage of that is that brain gets revved up and is not able to shut down, and she can't get back to sleep. So those are the things. I would start with the blood sugar. Odds are, literally, I don't remember the last time somebody came in and had stable blood sugar all the time. Even if they're eating keto or paleo or whatever, they're usually dipping down, which is what the problem is at nighttime. So even people intermittent fasting, things like that. Kristen, you are so welcome. All right, so bring more questions, guys. we've got all the time in the world today, so bring those questions. Otherwise, let me know, Brittany. That was a good one. What do you think about detoxifying? How do I do this? That was somebody wrote that one in. So detoxifying it's a thing, but here's the deal. You can't go and do like this lemon water with apple cider vinegar fasting and go, ooh, now I'm detoxifying the body. That doesn't happen. What you need to do is make sure that you know physiologically how the body detoxifies and then support those systems. By just fasting, not really going to detoxify the body. So here's the different detoxification pathways in the body. Our breath is a huge one. We actually lose a lot of our fat through our breath, and that's one of the main ways that we excrete as fat is broken down. We excrete it through our breath, and that's one of the important parts of deep breathing, nice and big breathing techniques, things like that. Breath work is really, really important, even for fat loss, but especially detoxification. Sweating is another way to detoxify. So you need to make sure that you're sweating on a regular basis, getting on the treadmill, going for a walk, going for a bike ride, getting in the sauna. Brittany, you want to put a link for the sauna down. We've got a portable sauna that we use. We've got it actually in our bedroom, sitting right next to our bed, and we'll get in there and just let the body sweat out a lot of these toxins as well. Then you've got urination. You need to be drinking enough fluid so that you're urinating every day and on a regular basis, 6-7 times a day, clearing out. So then you get into the liver, and this is where a lot of people think about detoxification. The liver has what's called phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. And these are going to be where we actually change from insoluble to water soluble. So think about it this way. Paint on the walls is going to be water soluble. You can wash that paint off your hands. If you're staining your deck, that's going to be insoluble, oil-based, whatever, where you've got to get turpentine or gasoline out and get that off your hands. And that's what's these toxins and hormones and different things in our body, they're insoluble. So we have to change that chemical format so that it can be water soluble and we can just wash it off. Then we can eliminate it. We package it up and it goes into the digestive tract. And this is where the third type of detoxification takes place, is that we have to get that through the digestive tract and eliminate out with our bowel movements. So if you're constipated, if you have slow bowel movements, if your microbiome is off, meaning your good bacteria, bad bacteria is all out of balance, then what will happen is that unpackages basically, and then those toxins get back into the bloodstream. So you've got to be going every day. You've got to make sure your microbiome is doing as well as it can. So this is detoxification is a big process. It's not just, hey, let's do a water cleanse or a water fast or take this charcoal or some things like that. All of those things are interesting and kind of add some value, but it is not going to make those major changes. So that was a great question. Let me know what other questions. Here was another one that somebody sent in. How frequent should I have blood work done, and what is the importance? That's a great question there as well. So most people, if you're relatively healthy, you're not overweight, your energy's good, you're just cruising along with life, annual blood works are good. And so you'll get that in-depth blood panel. Check out some of our links to the videos that I've done on what you really need to be looking for in blood work. And you're going to look for these markers to see and make sure that they're moving in the right direction. I just had some blood work redone on Monday, and I'm going to see, because I had blood work done 3 months ago, there was a few things that I'm working on. Want to make sure those are changing So I'm rerunning a few of those markers again. If you have a lot going on, you should probably be doing your blood work every 6 months. For our patients that we work with, we do a blood test when we start care. 3 months later, do another one, and then 3 months later, we do another one. But we're fine tuning and tweaking and poking and prodding and changing things throughout the course of that whole care plan. So it's a very active thing. So if you have a lot going on, you're starting to really dig deep. Even every 3 months is going to be good to look at that. If you've got some stuff you're working on, but it's not that intense, maybe every 6 months. And if you're in maintenance, kind of doing pretty good, an annual basis is good. But here's what you want to look for. You want to make sure that you're running your hormones, make sure you're running full thyroid panel, looking for your ferritin and your anemia markers, looking for fatty liver, autoimmune conditions, all these different things. You've got to be digging deep into those to see what is going on in some of those. And all right. Another question we had was, what supplements should I take if I think I have been exposed to this round of COVID? So we had this YouTube one. You can check that link up above there. And so when you start thinking about COVID, and yes, one of our team members in Nashville came down with it recently. We had another one, multiple patients. I had one in Ohio I was talking to, one out here in Colorado. So we've had multiple people we know that have come down with COVID. They tested positive. They had some pretty significant symptoms of cold, flu, some things like that. But what do you do? What supplements? If I need something to have on hand right now, what should it be? One of the first ones is vitamin D. 10,000 a day is what most people are taking, but 50,000 is what you want to jump up to when you do get that cold. Again, this is general recommendations. You need to know what's going on in your body, check your vitamin D levels, things like that. But 3 days of 50,000 a day of vitamin D can be a huge immune system booster. We keep that on hand if somebody comes down sick, or if we're around people that are sick, things like that. We keep that on hand in our house, and we'll take that for 3 days. You don't want to do that, but maybe once a quarter. Some people during COVID were like, oh my gosh, I got exposed again, and they were doing that like every 3 weeks. Then it can start building up too much. But if you're doing that once a quarter and you'll do a 3-month boost like that, it's going to be totally fine. You're not going to go that high. So you want to have that vitamin D on hand. You can do your nebulizer with the food grade hydrogen peroxide. You can put a little iodine in there. There's some great recipes online. If you look up Dr. David Brownstein up in Michigan, he's got some great research on that, on doing the nebulizer. You can gargle with food grade hydrogen peroxide. Make sure it's food grade hydrogen peroxide. You can gargle with that. You can look at the quercetin. Quercetin is very similar to hydroxychloroquine in that it's a zinc ionophore, so it's going to drive that zinc into the cell. So you can be taking zinc and working through that into the cell. Zinc is great for antiviral, but it has to get into the cell in order to do that, because that's where the virus gets into the cell and starts to cause damage, and then it ultimately ruptures and then goes into some of these other things. If you are coming down with COVID or everybody around you, do all those things to help your immune system. Get quality sleep. Cut your workouts down a little bit. Don't overdo it on the workouts. Cut your stress down. Give away a couple of the projects you're working on. Whatever it is, you've got to take care of your body. Give it the best chance possible to fight this off. Stabilize your blood sugar, because remember, every time that blood sugar spikes up, you're decreasing the immune system for 4 upwards to 18 hours. So if you have a blood sugar spike, don't be eating any ice cream, any cake or candy or anything at all like that. Keep that blood sugar as steady as you possibly can. If you're coming down with a cold or know somebody that has COVID, things like that, you've got to keep that as steady as possible. And then as far as other supplements go, You should have some vitamin C on hand. That quercetin again is going to help pull that zinc in, and there's some other things that are helpful. Oil of oregano is a great kill off. Garlic is a great kill off. Some of those are going to be very helpful as well. So hope that helps, guys. Keep those on hand and be ready. Whether it's now or later, there probably will be some more COVID going around. Okay, I don't see any other questions right now. So if you guys are watching this later and have questions, pop it down below. We always keep an eye on these, and if you've got any other questions that come up, let us know, and we will be answering these and come back and look. And if anybody's watching this and you've got some other ideas to answer and help people out, this is a great community. We love everybody sharing positive, constructive feedback across the board. So take care, everybody. Check us out next Thursday, live Q&A again. Tell your friends this is the place to be. Take care.